So for yourself, like how do you manage to be consistent with whatever you're doing at the moment?
So for me, it's like, for me, I break it down into periods, kind of like he suggested. So for me, it's like, unfortunately, I know work is taking up like the first and second period. Yeah, it's peaks, how it goes. So for me, I say, okay, like, I make sure I'm trying to like meditate, or just when I wake up, I don't just immediately start things. I just take some time, right? I go to work, whatever, and then I just allocate my evening in a certain manner. So depending on certain factors. So if work has been stressful, I'll speak to friends first. And I just respond, get in touch with people, and I'll do some sort of not too intense activity in the evening. So I might just read a book or read things I'm interested in and go to bed. But if work's been productive and I'm feeling energized, right, then instead of speaking to friends first, I'll take advantage of that, of me feeling energized, and go straight into something where it's more learned, like it's more intellectually challenging, like coding, right? So I know what my periods are, and then I just use them accordingly to be consistent. So it's not like I do coding every day, but I do it every period where I'm energized, and I try and do things in the morning to make sure that I have that period every so often, so like 2 to 3 times a week, that kind of thing. Yeah, I follow you. I think with the examples it's much clearer to see that, like, I get what you're saying. So it's like that. I think Naval puts it like you. Oh, you listen to Naval? Oh, yeah. I like him as well. Yeah, Naval. Yeah, Naval's a very wise guy. But it's like he puts it like you have to. People try to hunt like some other animal. He uses an animal example. I don't remember the name of the animal, but basically you're trying to like use your energy consistently throughout like the week or the day or whatever, instead of like, your energy comes in cycles, right? You have times when you are naturally high energy, you have times where you're naturally like low, and it's just like the way your body works, like you're saying, and you have to be able to recognize that. And it's just like, it's more like moving like a lion. So there's times when you're actively hunting, you're aggressive and you're going for it, and then there's times when you're just resting, you don't do anything. And I think, like I was saying, it's about understanding your energy and your cycles, and then doing stuff according to that, and kind of not being so rigid, taking a more flexible approach, right? And I like that the way you think about that, because it then helps you to kind of perform when you're at your best, right? And take advantage of those points where you are at your best, you're at your optimum, and you're not trying to code that when you're just tired and your brain dead, or you're trying to read for university and just going in you're just reading, it's just not going anywhere. You know, you're reading you're reading the same page over and over again, like nothing is actually going in. Obviously there's times when you can't help it, like you've got a deadline and doesn't matter how you feel, you got to do it. But then when you do have the option, that just like literally, it's just about being adaptable to your own periods, which is just mad key, man. Like, for example, with books, like I feel like I'm a big fan of. Again, we'll get onto this because it's one of the things one of the talking points. But listen, if everyone's reading a book, right, and you go get the book and you're not feeling it, put the book down. Like, no, genuinely, that's not my force. But a lot of people don't realise that, bro. Yeah. And it's things like that, like just being able to be adaptable, not adaptable in just environments, but adaptable within within yourself and then your own goals. A lot of people don't have that. Yeah. They're adaptable environments and place them, but that's not like adaptability isn't just that. Being adaptable is also like, how are you adaptable to yourself? Like, how are you adaptable to your own like mental, emotional health, your own different periods of energy, or just different periods in general. I think that's true adaptability, as well as being adaptable to your environment. People just look at it as your environment and like, I'm calmer, but then they're, as you said, rigid when it comes to themselves, which just makes no sense. Yeah, exactly. But I do think it is a spectrum. So it's like, on one end, you have being ultra adaptable, and that's like a positive trait. But then you also have
it could potentially be negative. Obviously, you take it to the extreme. I think there is definitely a balance to be had in terms of it's good to be flexible, and it's a very, very key trait. I think in successful people, I think you'll tend to see that they are adaptable and they're flexible to different situations. But I think as well, like on the flip side, sometimes it does require you to do things that don't want to do you. Sometimes you gotta just put your head down and get it done, right? I'm sure you know that.
Yeah. CFA. Yeah.
You and this CFA.
I do not like this thing. But anyway, if my employer hears me say that long, so I like CFA disclaimer.
Cut that one out. Cut that one out quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, sometimes in life, got to do things you don't want to do, don't love to do, but I think that's still within it's still within that greater goal that you've got, right? As long as it falls underneath that, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah, literally, man.
But yeah, I mean, what's something that you've been doing recently that you just, besides CFA, that maybe it's just like, I don't really want to be doing this thing, but it's contributing towards the long-term goal?
Gym, bro. Bro. Because I got gym. I go 6:30, innit?
In the morning?
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, yeah. 6:30, as soon as it opens, because my thing is like a leisure centre. So it doesn't. But sometimes I wake up and I think I'm vexed. My boy said it perfectly. I just sit there thinking, why don't you just lie? I'm just vexed with myself, right? But no, it contributes to a longer goal because it gets me set for the day. Gets my mind gets me in the right frame of mind, gets my obviously sometimes you're tired after a good session, but still gets my body in the correct state, state of mind as well. So yeah, it's good. Gets my energy levels up, which is needed. So yeah, I definitely say gym's one of those things where it's just been always in a moment I'm thinking this is long, but then I know that it's contributing to my long-term goals because it's making me have more periods where I'm have more of those periods where I have higher energy, which then means that my average marginal propensity to learn is higher. I'm more often seeking to learn, and learning is everything. Yeah, 100%. I think it's a great thing to pick up on because you have to know yourself on what triggers you have that can help you to do hard things, right? And if that's one of those things, if you know you're gonna work, if you work out, that's gonna boost your energy levels and you can do something hard. That's crucial because, like I was saying, you need to be able to learn quickly and on demand in this world. So that's important. And yeah, for myself, I think it's actually been exercise as well, but in a different sense. So I've recently been going outside to skip. Before I never did exercise outside. I didn't like to be outside. I don't like to be cold in it. But I've been doing that recently, and bro, going outside and just getting sunlight is powerful. I think it's even scientific. It triggers certain hormones and certain. That's what this government lab. I can't explain it. That's the issue. I can't even just gotta listen to it.
Exactly. But it's just it triggers that and it provides me with so much energy. If I'm feeling down, I'm in a rut, or I know I'm tired. It's got to a point now where I know, okay, it's time to go outside to go exercise. And it's a case of I won't want to do it, but I know, but it's in my head I know now. If I go and exercise outside, I'm going to come back and be energized, I'm ready to go. So it's a case of bro, these little things you find are very, very powerful once you know how you're going to be able to react to them.
It's mad funny you say that because lockdown, I know, have you seen my skipping videos?
No.
Oh yeah, because lockdown, that's all I did, bro.
What was it?
That's what kept me lockdown.
Kept you going?
My thing, I went outside, skipped my boy all the time, and little pad sessions on the boxing thing. And obviously I still skip to this day in the gym, but I used to go out in the sunlight, and it helped me become very good at skipping. It just made me kept my stamina good and my fitness good.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about there.
I know exactly, that's what I'm saying. I was me a year ago, innit?
Yeah.
It's how long have it run? Maybe 2. Maybe a year and a half.
Is it?
Yeah, because lockdown, innit? That was.
Yeah, lockdown was 2020.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 2022, so a year and a half.
Are you still going with it every day?
Yeah. So whenever I go to gym, I skip. Yeah. I skip all this. Yeah. Skipping's it's because I don't really complete it, mate. But I just I just.
Duh. Yeah. You, I guess you can relate. You understand exactly what I'm talking about in terms of those ones it just makes you it's one of those ones where if you're in a rut and you're trying to do your work, you're trying to do something, you're working towards something great, and there's always times when you're feeling low on energy, you're feeling down, you're feeling you can't quite muster the energy to get your work done. It's like things like that, like going outside to skip, going outside to exercise, doing exercise in the gym, whatever it is, like it's like that movement breeds movement almost. Like
literally,
you need to kind of. Like, I'm the big believer that if you're in a rut, you need to get up and do something. That's the way you're gonna get out of that rut. Like, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big
What do you
believer in
think?
that as well.
Yeah.
Huh?
You do believe in that as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that as well, man. Yeah, no, the thing is though, yeah, so like, yeah, but do you know what it is? I'm a big believer in that, but like sometimes I don't always adhere to that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, especially for me, I don't always adhere to it. Well, nowadays I do, but I never used to when it was like an emotional run, which is different.
Yeah, okay.
Because like right now, I feel like we're talking about like mental runs, so like challenges.
Yeah.
But like when it's an emotional one, yeah, bro, yeah, your heart can just shut down everything. Your heart can just
emotional. What are you on about? Are you talking about like heartbreak?
Yeah, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's.
I've always thought about that. Like going through heartbreak as an adult, it seems rough, man.
It's long still. Yeah,
oh no,
I don't recommend that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man's yeah. That's another conversation, bro. That's not even for the cameras, bro. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's true. That one is a bit of a different one, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's a different one, fam. It's a different one. It's weird.
I feel like with those ones, time is probably the best healer. At least that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say, man.
That's what they say. Whenever you're building something that is going to be impactful, that's it's providing value to people. There's always challenges along the way, right? It's not straightforward. If it was easy, then it probably wouldn't be valuable. It probably wouldn't be, nothing really comes easy that's going to be valuable for people. So, in your experience, like with FinFoc and stuff, like where were the major sticking points that could have stopped you, but you guys had to like power through and just see it through, basically?
So I was balancing it with uni. Obviously, as uni picked up, and as we were applying we were trying to also plan our own careers. So that was I think that was a huge. Those were two huge challenges. Other challenges were maybe like we could have easily feared employers frowning on it.
Sorry?
We could have easily feared employers frowning on it. Looking at that's a risk they may leave or whatever, but we didn't. We stuck with it. We didn't sacrifice that. Because I feel like when you sacrifice that, that's when you're really, as I said, you're going down the road with them just sucking you in. And then I think the other thing was, right, this was more of like an annoyance thing, right? You see when you listen to Drake?
Of course.
Yeah, you see when he says, imitation isn't flattery, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. The amount of small little things that were just basically just like, it depends, man. There's two ways of looking at it.
I think I know you're going to.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at this, man. It depends. Like, it's not okay. In these cases, it was annoying. But in other cases, you can be like, okay, that wasn't like they took you lot as an inspiration. But just having people like just like kind of like copy our whole thing, bro. Like, fam, you see how we call ourselves finance focus or FinFoc? Fam, there was one dumb thing. I think there was one page that called themselves like. Bro, if I remember it, I'll get mad. It was something silly. Like they basically called themselves like, it was like Focus Finance or something like. They just flipped the thing, bro. Like Focus Finance, yeah. And we were like,
that's jarring. Man.
Yeah, we were like, cause then what happens then, like, is when that happens, yeah, you get a flood like that, yeah. If you don't keep up the quality of what you're doing, it lowers perception of the quality of what you're doing, basically. Because it's like, they're just like bare like random things out here, like these aren't just one of them. So that was a challenge, because it meant that we had to go that extra mile to be like, no, like
we're different to them.
Yeah, like that we had to go an extra mile to increase that quality and show we're different. I don't put us in the same category. Yeah. Yeah,
bro. It's like the cost of doing business, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I think. Most entrepreneurs, I guess, will tell you that as soon as if you do something innovative and you start succeeding in it, people are gonna copy and try and come in. But I think what you guys clearly had was the authenticity, right? And that's what separates you from other people as well. And in a sense, it's kind of good, right? Like if they're pushing you also to be better.
Yeah.
I guess that's also a positive take from that as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was just knowing that it's problematic because it just meant that it made it like, forget about the market being flooded. Competition's good, but it just made us look like, it made our thing look like,
cheaper.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like our thing looked less serious.
But you came through that, right?
Yeah, you came through that. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. So yeah, in terms of as well mentality, like, so I guess what's helped you also persevere with building that out and being able to help people, like what kind of mentality has helped you do that?
So I think it's two different mentalities. So I'll go with the persevering one. Is that my vision, bro, my end goal with time, as we've spoken about, and just making sure my family's patterned, current and future. In terms of helping people, the other mentality is that like I'm someone that really, like I'm someone that I like to help people kind of thing, and so like to me, just seeing the positive impact it had, I was like because I know. Maybe not me per se, but I know that help other people to receive, and it's put them in positions where they never thought, right? So for me, it's like, not that mentality of sharing and not like trying to be like, I don't know, some sort of barrier to other people having knowledge, but actually sharing that and passing that down, paying that forward was the other mentality. So yeah, just those two things there just meant that we just kept pushing with it, and kept persevering.
Yeah, that's I like that a lot, because that drive is like that. For me, it sums up. I've seen it in all the conversations I've had so far. I just see the pattern, and I like seeing it because it's like what this podcast is about. But it's like there is some like mission that's driving the person. For you, I've heard you mention a couple of times like your family is important to you to make sure that they're set, and then like that's like you have, and then that's like the end goal, the mission. And then you also like have the impact side. You enjoy helping people. You've seen the impact you can make in their lives, and then that comes together for you, and that's what drives you forward, right? And it's like that's so powerful. And I think, being able to know what is driving you and those goals that you have, I think it can just make you go that much harder, right?
Yeah, literally. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, but you got to take the time to get to that. You got to take the time.
It's not straight away.
Yeah, it's not a straightforward path. But even taking the time to understand yourself, to know what's driving you, like you kind of mentioned. But yeah, it's very tough to balance everything though. Very tough to balance everything. It can get quite difficult. So.
But I think so, as well, because people might listen and think, might be in a position where they don't necessarily have that clarity. And they're still going through that process. For you, what were the kind of questions you were asking yourself? What were the kind of things you were going through mentally to get to that point where you kind of knew you kind of knew what was driving you, and then kind of knew the right channel, the right paths that were right for you to execute on and to make an impact. So for you, obviously, it's FinFoc and within the finance space. What are the kind of, how did you get to that stage where you kind of knew?
It's kind of like what do I want in my life, right? It's the questions I kind of ask myself. What do I want in my life? What do I want my life to look like in the next 10 years or whatever? And what do I want my family to actually look like more importantly in the next 10 years, right? Who am I, right? And who am I actually? Like, not like I am 23-year-old accountant or whatever, like who am I actually? Right, what do I want to be known for? And then like, what do I think about the world we live in today? How does that, if it does at all, align with who I am and my values? And if it doesn't, which it doesn't, how do I want to, like, how am I going to go about changing that? And how can I change that in a way that has a positive impact on people? So that's kind of the things like for me, it's not even just about my goals, my visions, but a huge thing, something that plays equal importance on is personal development, personal growth, like growing emotionally and mentally. And I think that's so important to me. I think that's more important than any goal, bro. think that's so important because if you, two reasons, right? Because you could have the goal or whatever, you could have reached it, yeah, but then I don't feel like you'll still look back and not like your life because you haven't focused on this bit. But then on top of that, I feel like they actually come slightly hand in hand, right? Because if you continue making mad progress on your goal and vision, yeah, that's going to be continued pressure and continued. You're going to get continued visibility. There are lots going to come with that, whether it's money, whether it's exposure, whatever. So if you haven't handled this bit, the cracks are going to start showing as you keep progressing in that. So to me, this personal growth, right, and growth mentally, emotionally, and everything, it's just mad. It's the most important thing, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, that is the most important thing to me.
Yeah. It's so funny because it's like you want that next level of attainment. You want to hit your goals, but it's like, are you ready?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you ready to handle what comes with it?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. It's like, I think, what's his name? Grant Cardone, the guy I read his book, The 10X Rule. It's like, when you level up, you're improving, you get new problems come along with that. You get new issues that you have to deal with, have to handle. And if you're not developing person, like in your personal life, your personal growth, who you are as a person, spiritually, mentally, those kind of things, when the challenges come, you're not going to be able to face it and you're going to be stagnant, you're going to hit a ceiling, right?
Or it could like just crush you. Like, God forbid, but literally, like, you see, I know rappers make it, they get crushed, like, they can't handle it, bro.
Yeah. The money, the fame, all of that, as much as you strive towards that, it's not sufficient. It's like, that's just the way I see it now is like, it's a consequence of all the other stuff. Like, it's not even the thing that you should really be aiming for. It's the thing that it comes with it, right? But the thing you're really striving for is that personal growth, that personal mastery. In fact, if you want to put it like that, of becoming the best you can be, even though you never will reach that. But it's obviously the ideal that you're just striving towards every single day, and then building that, and then all the other stuff just comes with it. But that personal growth and then being focused on having a vision, having a mission that you're focused on achieving every single day, I think those are the crucial things that lead to fulfillment. The money and the fame and all that kind of stuff, that's just a consequence on the side. That stuff is not going to lead to fulfillment.
No, exactly. Because this is one of the talking points here, so I'm just going to, like, this segues nicely into it, right? But even like, sorry, one sec.
That's cool.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but like, basically, like, for me, yeah, I think that I live in an interesting world today, right? And I think that, and I actually said this perhaps the other day, but like people are so caught up with, they don't want to, people are, like, perceptions are key and reputation is key, but it's not more important than you, like who you are as a person, and if you're actually remaining true to that. What I mean is that people are so concerned sometimes with putting up this illustration of their life, right? Putting up this illustration that they're patterned or that they're cool or whatever, that they don't spend the time to actually make the progress to get to that. So like, put up an illustration that I'm rich, but then you behind the scenes that you're broke. Like, behind the scenes that like because you're putting up this constant illustration, because you don't want to disappoint people's perception of you, right? You're not actually working on the things that you should, right? And I think we live in an interesting world in that sense. Also, just like with not even just socials, but we're exposed to so much. I don't know if you watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I don't know if you watch that. Yeah, we're exposed to so much. And so there's constant news flow in our head of like, this person's doing that, and that results in people not maybe focusing on their vision for as long as they should, because they're just concerned with someone else and all of like the social status that comes with it, bro. So it's so interesting. Like, how I see it is, someone could be on the path, like on a vision for so long, on a pathway for so long, and because there's so much information out there, it's hard though. It's hard. Like, we actually have too much information. We haven't seen too much. It's actually hard, So like I rate what Austin said when he said that you need to control your social media by following what you want to see. I rate that. That's what you need to do, because there's so much out there that, like, someone could be this close making a breakthrough they wanted and just stop. Like imagine God's watching you, God's like you're almost there, yeah, and they think, I see this person doing this, I'm gonna pivot. And literally a week later, someone could have called you and given you the contract of your life.
It's like that. It's that really like overdone meme that time when they had the person who was like hitting the wall. They were trying to like break the wall down, and then you could see that the diamonds behind him.
Yeah,
the old BBM thing that he was sitting around.
Yeah. But yeah, bro. So like, but it is interesting because like basically to me, yeah. The way I feel like the world is today, and the way a lot of people living it like they're kind of like playing a game, right? And I'm a big fan. Like my whole thing, right? I feel like one of my purposes in life is to just bring a thing where everyone's just it's just authentic. Everyone's just their true selves without any sort of like unapologetically their true selves, right? Because like I don't feel like we get enough of that. I feel like there are a lot of these kind of small games that are being played as a consequence of like maybe like social status or something, right? So as you said, like you spoke about LSC, like what that does for your name, right? And that person is looking at you basically, like that person that has that perception of you, right? They are like, to me, regardless of whether you're into LSC or not, they should treat you with the same thingy. But in a way, they're playing the game because now that they know you're into LSC, it's now like, what can I get from you? So like everyone's playing these games, and bro, that's like my friends, our close friends know that like the only thing I care about is just authenticity, bro. Just being your true self, being authentic, helping people, and not playing these games. That's hard because people don't realize they're playing the games, and unfortunately, like. It's hard to not play these games. Like society is built in a way where you kind of feel like you have to. Like, for example, I listened to a very good podcast. Joseph put me on it. It's called Not Overthinking.
Ali Abdel and his brother.
Yes. Yeah. And it's called Envy and Elephant in the Brain. Was that episode, right?
I almost that money, but yeah. It's a great podcast though.
Yeah, and Envy and Elephant in the Brain, yeah. And what they were talking about on the podcast was basically they were basically saying that like, yeah, like people are playing these games, right? And like. For example, like biologically, like, survive women attracted to, like survival of the fittest, the ones that can survive the most or whatever. And so that unconsciously, subconsciously results in males playing games where they're always trying to signals, like always trying to provide a signal, some sort of status or some sort of alpha kind of thing, right? Not in your typical ways of, I bench like 500 kg or something, but just in very subtle ways, realize it. And I'm here just trying to like just completely take that apart. I just care about like authenticity, bro. So yeah, I feel like that's something that I don't know what that purpose looks like, but it's something that I know that I care about, and I know that will be like my purpose. One of my purposes.
And like I was saying, I think even if you don't know how exactly that's going to manifest practically, it's something to hold on to, right? And just to remember that that's something that's important to you, and eventually something will open up and you'll see and be like, yeah, that's it. That's how I'm gonna be able to impact people in a way to help people be authentic, to give them that confidence to be authentic, right? But yeah, I really like that, and the whole signaling thing, it's what do you call it? It's like when I was talking about earlier, it's like a necessary evil in sense. You're exactly right. Like it's a game that shouldn't have to be played, right? And one thing I've learned about the real world is that all of that stuff doesn't matter. Like I've met so many intelligent people that have not been to top universities that haven't played that game or weren't aware of it, and they just but that doesn't dictate your success in the real world. It doesn't dictate how intelligent you even are. Like there's just so much that goes on behind the scenes before you even get to that point that determines what school you go to. It's all rubbish basically, man. Yeah. It's all BS. But at the end of the day, my point was that it's an unfair advantage. You use it to your advantage because other people are playing the game. You have to understand the games that are being played sometimes and use that to your advantage. But like you were saying, I agree. I think especially for us now that are here, for those coming up, we have to make sure that we're not playing those games. We're making sure that we're educating people around us that like there are intelligent people all around, and it comes to like even hiring within companies and stuff. Just like just like recognizing the skills and talents people have outside of, just I went to this school, I went to that school.
Yeah. And literally, man, and I haven't actually said this outside of my friends, but like for me, like the way I'm navigating that, whilst I'm considering how that purpose is going to manifest itself, is and you kind of touched on this, and I actually wanted to talk about it then. You know how you said that, and we were talking, and you were like, talking about like freelancing. So you're saying, like the graphic design thing.
Yeah.
I'm a weight on it right now, and it's like become the best at this.
Yeah.
And then maybe add that in, yeah. So I'm navigating it is because with those games I was talking about, what that ends up resulting in is there's two states of the world, right? For people to care about you, no, that's cynic. But like for people to like want to interact with you, pardon me, there's two states of the world. You either need to be the most knowledgeable person on what you do, right? Because in either way, people are going to be like, yeah, I need to chat to you about this. Like if you're crypto, I need to chat to you about crypto. Or you need to be making yourself so visible that it looks like you're the most knowledgeable person.
Perceived to be the
most knowledgeable person, right? This one takes a lot more of like playing that game, and I physically can't get to that because that's just not me, right? So for me, I'm right now the way I'm navigating it is being in the middle, like. So what I'm doing is I know what my interests are, and I'm basically like engaging my interests more and letting people know what that is, but doing it in an authentic manner. So doing it in a manner where it's like, I'm not allowing I'm controlling people's perception of me much more. So I'm not just allowing people to have a perception of me based on like what they see, or like, this guy's at this firm. But I'm now putting things out there to try and control the perception they have of me as well. So then I'm in like this middle bit of the world where like I'm kind of playing the game, but I'm doing it in a very authentic way.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's some people I really look up to that I feel that like do that. So like, maybe I don't want to say playing it, but like do you know like Reggie Nelson? Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Reggie, man, like amazing guy. That guy, like, if you speak to him, you'll clock this guy just doesn't. He's not on this like it doesn't matter who you are. You can have a conversation with him. He doesn't care about this LSE thing. He doesn't care about this thing, right? Yeah, that guy does what he needs to do so that he continues getting opportunities. He continues being visible so that people continue coming to him, right? But then people know what he stands for. People know that this guy's a proper, authentic, clean-hearted person that's trying to positively help people and have an impact on their lives. That's kind of where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
That's how I'm trying to navigate it.
Yeah.
That's a very tough thing, though.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I think that the benefit is that at our age and when we've just come out of university, you literally just start building reputation now. And I think that's the key part is like, people can't, for people that are like still in university or graduating, it's like that crucial thing to realize is that your reputation actually begins once you leave, is when your reputation begins. That's when you start to actually build and provide value to the world. So everything you do before that is literally just signaling that you have potential to be valuable.
Literally.
But you haven't actually done anything valuable. Most people haven't until you've actually leave university and start contributing to the world, to the working world. So it's like, as I was saying, the way I see it is like, you do, or the way I've heard is like you do hard things, you put your name on it, and then people begin to associate you with quality, with good work, and then that's how you then grow your reputation and people know you for what you do. And like I was saying, it's like you want to get to that stage where you're known for what you do, not just perceived to be known for what you do.
Literally. But it's hard to be the most knowledgeable person, right?
That's true.
So like a lot of people are like, let's say here, like very knowledgeable, but because they don't do enough of this, overlooked.
That's a good point.
So that's what I'm saying. But that's not how it should be.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's how it is in the meantime. So you need to be able to navigate it.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of knowledgeable people, as you've spoken about, bro, but they're overlooked because they don't do enough of this
stuff. Yeah. And it's like it's this new world as well where like you have to learn how to show your work. You have to learn how to document what you're doing and let people know that you're smart. And that's difficult for some people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you find it in terms of like, obviously you're a smart guy, you're doing your thing, but then like I was saying, how do you let people know that this is what I'm doing in a non kind of bragging way, but that's still authentic, and that's still authentic to you?
Yeah, it's lit. So that's what I'm saying. So I really struggled with that, right? But it's just by what I've explained. So my thing is just like, I've made it clear who I am, what values I stand for. Like I literally have on my Notion, like I start off with like who I am, like who am I actually. Then I say what I want to be known for. Then through understanding what I want to be known for comes authenticity. So like, pardon me, what I mean by that is that like, if I want to be known for, I don't know, being in the corporate world and just, you know, being a asset manager or whatever, right? Then a lot of people that are going to come to you, it may not be the most authentic relationships. They may always want something from me. But me, I'm saying I just want to be known for my values and my interests. Because I'm known for my values and my interests, right? Naturally, I'm going to engage and put a lot of time into my values and interests. And as I'm documenting this, I'm going to attract people that also are interested in what I'm interested in, right? But that's twofold. I'm documenting it so people's perception of me is like, okay, not only is this guy interested in it, but because I'm naturally putting more energy and time into it, this guy's also kind of knowledgeable in it. So I'm not, do you know what I mean? So it's not that it's not that I'm like talking on biology when I have no clue about biology, because that's something that's why I said I can't be here.
Yeah.
Because that to me just doesn't.
It's not right. Yeah, it doesn't sit right. Yeah.
It doesn't sit right with me. Like I can't like literally, man. Like for example, like in the stock market last year, enough man was not. Bro, it's so funny because if you ask any of my boys, yeah, they'll tell you, Philip, when it comes to investing, chat to him. But I don't really advertise that, right? I can't now, regulations, but I don't really advertise that, yeah. But like you have enough man that'll be saying, yeah, buy this, that. Stock market went bad, quiet, gone. Very People losing money, quiet. The page
nowhere to be found.
Page disappeared. That doesn't sit right with me, and that's why I'm so like, I know one of my purposes is to like just break this little thing that's going on here. But I don't like to think about how.
Yeah, but I think even through what you're doing, like FinFoc, like in a sense, if you can be that recognized source of good information, good education, people eventually start to realize that and come to you guys. You start to push those other guys out of the way, right?
Yeah. I start to push those other guys out of the way, but the thing is, these other guys are always gonna kind of have a place because of what they like I said, it appeals to the game, it appeals to the status, to the status signal.
Because they can make promises, right?
Yeah, exactly.
These lofty promises.
Exactly. It appeals to the status signal, right? And so then you get people that, like I said, everyone has a high propensity to learn. So you get people that just bypass the learning because they just want a signal. They want to, like signals is like I said, it's not just signals of education, signals that you can work hard, but signals that I'm cool, signals that I'm rich, so that when I go on a date, you wanna chat to me or whatever. So then I just go straight to the P. Not knowing the detail, I don't have a clue what they're talking about.
Yeah, so you're really about that kind of substance then. What's really like what's really driving you to do whatever you're doing and be good at what you're doing. But then I guess also then making sure that you're showing that in an authentic way to make sure people can recognize you for what you're doing at the same time, right?
Yeah, bro. And just and I feel like I can't. I've had a lot of experiences in life as well, and I think it makes me a very empathetic person to people. So I don't like seeing people go through this, yet alone my friends. Like I just don't like. I'm a very like I hate unfairness. I hate unjustness. And it's like I guess that's the world to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try and do what I can in my control to combat that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of another thing, which is why I'm like, I'm trying to get rid of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, and it's like you're here on this earth now. I guess like you understand that God has put you here. The chances of you being here biologically are so slim that it's like if you're here, you're blessed to be here. You better do something. You might as well do something with your time here, You might as well make an impact, do something worthwhile, Make the most of your time here. So in terms of mission, like when you have like a strong mission, a strong sense of direction, and you're doing something that's aligned to who you are and what the world wants, I think even with this podcast, I'm finding like it's so interesting, like, and then you're also at the same time showing what you're doing and showing who you are, and you're being authentic in what you're doing. People will find you as well. So like even with the podcast, people like how people reach out to me, and I've like met people just through them reach out to me and tell me how they found the episode, or like people with similar interests to me, and even just that has been like I think it's so important, like going forward, like when you're trying to work with the right people to make an impact, doing stuff like this like allows you to meet the people that you can work with going forward, you know, to meet the right people, to be people who are also equally as authentic and interested in the same things that you are interested in.
No, I agree, bro. I agree. That's the whole essence of it, right? And not just in this conversation that we're having, but in other manners as well. Like you just being yourself and being authentic, and I guess showing that you're gonna attract the same people. Like you're gonna attract the people that are similarly like interested in the same things as you, and to a certain extent have the same values and characteristics as you. So yeah, I agree with that, bro.
Yeah. So interesting thing you said as well was like you asked yourself the question, who am I? Like, that's an important question to you. So like I guess that's like one of those big life questions, you know, like who am I? Like people might be like, how do I answer that question? Where do I start from? Like for you, what's the thought process you go through when trying to break down that who am I question?
So the first thing I say is the first thing I look at is what not to do. What not to do in that instance, which would be like answer that question by associating my identity with something. It's like I'm a banker. Like, that's the first thing I try not to do. So when I went to answer that question, I looked at it as a combination of what I enjoy, like what I love, what I liked when I was a kid, my values, my goals, and basically like what I want to be known for, right? And that's kind of how I answer, like whenever I answer that question, like cool, like who am I? Well, yeah, I'm this. I'm a very I'm a caring, whatever person that thinks this about the world or is trying to change this, and I'm very interested in etc. because X, Y, Z, and that's kind of framing it, because from then you see a lot of important things about you. You get to understand these triggers we were talking about. Get to understand, maybe if you don't already, what drives you, right? When you ask yourself that question and frame your answer in that manner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's also a process as well. From my own personal experience, like I've gone through those asking myself those kind of questions as well, and it's like I think it's most useful to think of it like a process. Those questions are big, like you have to do it over time, and it's like. It's better to like have the questions there, and like over time as you like start to realize or pick up things, and you go and add it in, because I think it's not like you can just sit down on a Sunday evening and just like it's a 30 minutes session and you're like, I know who I am now. Like I don't think it really works like that, but like those questions are key. But I feel like it's a process of getting to know yourself, like observing yourself, almost as though like outside of yourself, observing yourself, and then so go on.
No, you know what? That's the thing is, like. So I made the assumption that, I've been doing that for a long time. Like, I've been through so many experiences that, like, I think a lot, right? And I also, because I'm very empathetic, I also like, and I'm, like I said, I've been on this thing of not on this thing that I've been trying to grow, like, personally, emotionally, mentally for so long now. So I always think about, like, what actually, like, okay, if I did something, why did I do that? Like almost like speak to myself, like why did I actually, like what was the reason as to why I did that? How was I feeling? Like what led me to do that? Okay, like I'm mad aware of myself. I'm very aware of myself. So like I'm very, very aware of myself. Like when I asked myself that question, it wasn't because I'd already gone through that process. Or obviously not. It's not just a finite process that you're always gonna go through that process. But because I've been going through that process for a long time. I've gone through a lot of experiences. I was kind of able to have more clarity answering that question. Whereas if you don't understand yourself, then you can't. Like you gotta first spend that time to understand yourself. Because a lot of people, genuinely, like I think one of the most important things is taking time to yourself, man. And it's hard in this world. Like when your week goes, like how our week's gone, it's like when am I going to be able to take time to myself? But I think it's so important. You just need to slow down, pause everything, and think about, okay, so like, let me actually process what just happened this week, like how I'm actually feeling about it, like who I am, or why I did that on that day, or why this day went bad, or whatever. Like for example, like when I catch myself slipping up, I think about it a lot. So like when I catch myself, maybe I said, oh, I want to do less of this, I want to be less like this, and then I do it a little bit, and then so then I think, like, alright, so like what, like why, how comes like that happened? Like how can we continue to grow from this or avoid that? And I just continue, like, you just continuously learn about yourself. So yeah, I think that's something. So it's a given, that's something you need to be doing.
Yeah.
Every day, not just when you want to set your goals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, and it's like, because people try to do it, I think, every year, like once a year.
Yeah.
People might only do that kind of reflection at the end of the year, going into the new year or beginning of the year, or like, yeah, and like I was saying, it's like, it's not really enough. That's like, I've learned that it's not enough for me personally, and like, because I change my mind about things so frequently and so quickly, like I tend to be a bit impulsive sometimes, and it's like impulsive and impatient. So like, knowing that about myself, I've had to like almost like increase the cycle of feedback I have with myself, those kind of reviews. So I had to touch base a lot more frequently to make sure that, I'm evaluating, like, why did I make the decision? Was it emotional? Was it impulsive? Like, and just making sure I check up on myself enough, like frequently enough that I'm able to understand myself.
Yeah, that's key. Like literally, that's what you gotta do, right?
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, personal growth element and understanding yourself drives everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So for yourself, like, like, what are the ways that you're trying to improve on that kind of personal level now? Like, how are you trying to drive that growth?
Prioritizing it. So, prioritizing, allocating time towards it on at least a weekly basis. Speaking to friends, speaking to, like, if sometimes, like, speaking to professionals, speaking to friends, prioritizing it, but then also like being very honest with yourself. It's a difficult thing to do. But
It is.
yeah, like actually being very, like, when you go through, it's weird. It's like, okay, that happened. Now let me rewind and go through what happened. But like, I'm outside. Basically, I said, like, outside of myself, kind of thing, right? And whilst you're like watching it, being very honest with yourself, I think that's key, because you do all of this, but if you're not honest with yourself, self-denial is just,
it's real, buddy.
Yeah, self-denial is real, and it's a killer. Like, it's just, yeah.
Because you can't grow like that.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
If you're lying to yourself, then
that's crazy. You can't grow like that, but you don't even realize you're lying to yourself.
Oh.
That's the thing. So yeah, it's just being honest with yourself when you do these things is key, unless it's all for nothing, really.
Yeah, because it takes a level of humility really to be able to like look at yourself and be like, do you know what? In that situation, I was in the wrong, or like, I can see why this character trait has led me to do this thing, and that's the negative trait that I need to learn how to reduce, or I need to make sure that I'm aware of that trait. Like, it takes a level of humility, right?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Literally, yeah. It takes humility, it takes juice and pride, it takes honesty, it takes a lot of things to get to that stage.
Nah, for real. For real. Yeah, so again, as you mentioned as well, like, the importance of, like, so you mentioned, like, in your growth, or talking to people or people around you. So it sounds like you have, like, obviously, like, quite a strong network around you, support you, people that are able to help you, like just a network in general. But for you, how has that helped you in terms of being able to make an impact with FinFoc, within the workplace, within your general professional career? Like, what's been the value of having that network?
So I say, bro, friends are just, friends are mad important. I think one thing I've definitely got from my friends is celebrating my wins more, being more proud of myself. Because like I said, my mentality is always in the next thing. So I think they've definitely helped me in that sense. I think it's more implicit, you know, like not even like, so there's only a handful of people I talk to about that when things have gone left or something, right? But more just implicitly in terms of like just being able to have that downtime or time away, right, from, I don't know, just working or from doing that thinking, because people think growth is easy, bro. Growth is growth is the hardest thing ever. Like, to be honest with yourself and to do all of that, it's tough. It's gonna hurt. Like, it might hurt. You know, it might take a lot of energy. And yeah, just being able to have a break from that by just chilling with your friends and, you know, like enjoying your time with them as well. Like implicitly, that's everything. Allows you to recharge. Allows you to, because, you know, even like a coding problem. Like if you look at that problem for like when I coded and you look at a problem and you've been looking for 10 hours, you just like you need to go to sleep, come back to it, fresh pair of eyes. Same thing like when you're thinking about things, you need to just leave it, come back to it, recharge, fresh pair of energy, whatever. Like fresh mindset, fresh energy. So yeah, I think friends implicitly just helps. Just a support network just helps because you just get to spend time with them. You just get to, you know, like enjoy life, share experiences, and also obviously explicitly with advice and stuff like that. I think mentors are key as well.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Like, just like breaking up the day, breaking up like the things you're doing, and just like having. Sometimes it's even good just have people outside of what you're doing to go to talk to, and you're not talking about work or talking about whatever. Like, so you've been working with them since the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so how has that been, like, obviously, like, in comparison to, like, working by yourself? Like, how's your team helped you? Like, how's it been working in a team? What's been the value of working in a team towards reaching that common goal that you have?
No, so definitely, so everyone holding each other accountable, right? Like, and having that, I think when you're working in a team, there's just a new standard set, right? In terms of, like, if you work by yourself, because no one's can get onto you, you can slack. But when you work in a team, you expect a level of quality from everyone, right? So yeah, there's holding each other accountable in that. There's also like the shared knowledge, right? Because I'm a big believer in that. Listen, you said you can't know everything. It's impossible. You'll drive yourself mad, right?
Yeah.
That's where you need to know your thing, and you need to come across someone. So there's definitely you share that, and because we all have our different areas of expertise and different things we're interested in. Like random ideas or random improvements or iterations can just come from my interest or from my knowledge, and that is very key as well. And then so if someone comes with an idea, the others can act as some sort of like board to try and review it and to, I guess, understand it and see whether it actually would work or to potentially get incorporated in the platform. So now working in the team's been really good, and I think the best thing about it is they're my guys as well. So like for me, to be honest, I think because of this, I don't think I can get into business with someone that isn't my guy. We don't have a certain level of a personal relationship with. Because them being my guys as well, it means I can trust that everything's done with a certain amount of respect and fairness. I can trust that when conversations had a certain amount of respect, fairness, certain amount of you know, of like consideration for the arguments or the points that someone's making, right? But then also it just means that like it's just a nice vibe. Like these people I'm working on these things with, we have, because of my boys, we have the same sort of values and same sort of mentality, and like then you're able to work on the same vision with people that share a lot of traits to you, and then you're able to chill with those people. And sometimes good ideas come from chilling. Sometimes you don't know what can come from just chilling with someone in that downtime. So yeah, I think it's been really good. It's been really good working in the team with them.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. You say that you know you already have that pre-existing relationship with them that can actually benefit you in a sense, because when you're just chilling, like you can actually have brainstorming sessions. You're kind of already having those brainstorming sessions because you're talking about stuff that you would talk about anyways.
Exactly.
And it's just natural, just flows, and you know out of that you even ideas come and stuff like that. Like that's really powerful. And yeah, let's wrap up now. But yeah, importance of a team is crucial now. That's like something that, you know, I think can't be overlooked if you're really trying to do something like make an impact or do some valuable kind of work. I think you can you'll go much further when you have a good team behind you, right?
Mm-hmm. No, literally, I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess yeah. To wrap it up though, for yourself, like, where do you see yourself going? Like, where do you see yourself being able to make an impact going forward in the future? Yeah, what are your plans? What in the world do you see? And you're like, yeah, okay, that's something I'm interested in working on. Probably not interested in solving. Yeah.
Cool. So, like I guess initially, as we spoke about, place of time freedom. So I'll come through finance focus in the start, but having a transition period, so putting myself in a position to be able to do that. So, you know, having a grounding in the industry. So if anything ever, I'm like a risk neutral person. So if anything ever goes wrong, I can come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But also I think on the softer side of things, outside of my goals and my vision, it would be, so as I said, this whole thing about like authenticity and trying to like encourage people to be authentic and man them to just be truthful and real, like not having to put up this illustration of whatever it may be that I'm rich or like I'm not bothered or whatever it may be. And also solving this problem of like, and it's a huge problem to solve, right? I don't think it can be trusted with the government, is like solving this problem of like people feeling like they need to commit crimes to make it, but to make a living in certain areas of London, right? Because it's very mad, bro. Like when I look at the world, like this UK place here, you're just getting squeezed more. Inflation, I don't want to go into it. I can go into it further. Inflation, increases in tax, this is that. The disposable income you have each year is just going down, right? But then there's a structural thing taking place because people are so, I guess, governments are corrupt, people are greedy, selfish, other institutions and whatnot. It's messing up the younger generation. They don't realise it, like a lot of areas. See, their people are good, so they don't really care, but like, look man, like when we were younger, we'd say, if you want to earn a little bit of money, you can go to the high street, get a job. Where's the high street now?
It's a good point.
But that's mad because, like, now, me and you, how are we gonna get that bread, right? And that's a,
Opportunities, right?
yeah. Like there's no opportunities anymore. They're getting taken away. And then they're getting taken away, but then you expect these people to not. Like I'm a big, like I don't judge people like that. I try not to because it's like I don't know what I'd do if I was in their position. I can't confidently say like when, you know, like a kid, like they need to put food on the table, they can't even get a job on the high street because high streets are closed or everything's just shut down, right? And then so what, like they, I don't know, they start doing XYZ or whatever they might start doing, yeah. Can you really judge them? Like, but then they get to a point where it's like you can like then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, like it depends, yeah. Do you know what I mean? But there's a spectrum in it, but it's like there's a lack of opportunities and no more opportunities being made, and so supply demand, like ceteris paribus, everything being equal, what does that mean? People are gonna start doing things that aren't necessarily fully legal just to try to get by, but then that's just gonna have the potential of messing up the future. So it's a sad, like, cycle, weird thing that I'm seeing, man. And the government doesn't care. So that's one of that future problems I want to. Like for me, that's the problem where it's like, okay, like that problem gets solved for me when it's like, yeah, I made my bread, I got my time, I've now got time freedom, so that I can really focus on this.
Yeah.
Because I don't want like a shoddy solution, all these other solutions that haven't worked, or the government saying, yeah, we're just gonna do this, but then like they say, we'll throw 500k to this, and then 400k of it goes missing. What's that? I get into this forever, bro.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's a mad problem, and
Yeah, so that's one of the things I see myself doing as well.
Yeah, and you're right. Like I think it will take somebody from the community, right? At the end of the day, like it's like why leave it to the government? Like I think, like I was saying, that we're striving, but there are so many problems within our own community that it's like we're striving, but we need to make sure that we remember that there is also a time we need to go back and make sure we pattern the things that for the people that come up behind us.
That's exactly, because people like, for me it's mad, because I always think about younger me, and I'm like, okay, we're striving, yeah, but if you strive and we're like in a bit like juices, yeah, would the younger version of us have the same opportunities we had to strive? Like, would the environment be the same?
Exactly.
Like, even just to get small peas, a younger version of us couldn't go to could go to work in the retail anymore. So how would we have got small peas? With all this fast money or fast things people are marketing around us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, bro, that's one of the things I really care about. Because I think, and then obviously that has mad consequences that you start getting, like, you know, like knife crime and things like that. Like, I think that's where a lot of it stems from, man. Just the lack of opportunities, really and truly.
There's so much that goes into that, you know, just general poverty, lack of education, housing situations, like there's so much that goes into that. But yeah, you're right. It's a very important thing, and man, hopefully in the future, you know, or even from now, as much as we can, you know, get involved in helping, you know, improve those kind of situations and whatnot. But let's wrap up here though. I appreciate you coming, obviously, on your busy schedule.
No.
Taking that time, like, it means a lot in that, so appreciate that. So I'll put your socials up on the screen and everything, but yeah, that will be it for today. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you take away something from this, and yeah, this has been the 20 Pod.